Hello, my quilty friends. Welcome back to my country farmhouse studio. I'm Marnay. It is a new year, new projects, and I have some upcoming things that I would like to show you and some things that I've been working on that I've now got finished up. I know a lot of you have watched The Crows and the Corn. I have the quilt here and it is finished. It's completely finished. It has been quilted. I picked out a really nice back from Sheets So Creative here, and me and Jim quilted it. So guess what? We have a quilter, and you can see this behind us. We now are the proud owners of a Knolting with an IntelliQuilter tablet, and it is working great. So we are back up and ready for business. We do have some batting and some thread ordered. And we do have a couple of quilts that a couple of people that are in my guild had brought to me, and we are going to quilt them up very soon. We're just waiting on thread to get those going. But I think what I'll do is give you the big reveal of this wonderful quilt. I absolutely love it, and it's probably going to go on the foot of my bed. I really said that, you know, with losing all of my quilts, I'm not going to store them in a trunk and let them look pretty and show them occasionally. I'm going to use my quilts and I'm going to love them because I've lost so many. And this being the new year, I have lots of ideas and lots of remakes that I want to do. And one of the upcoming ones that'll be coming up in this year will be another Tilda quilt. I'm not sure if I want to do another hen house, which I really love that quilt, and I know it had a lot of views and a lot of people watched it. But if I recreate that quilt, I'm going to do it totally different. I'm going to do the barns different, the chickens different. I don't know, give it a different look. I can't be the same. So there's a lot of things I really want to do and recreate. So I wish I could hang this up for you, but I'm going to kind of go over it with my camera. The design I picked for this was kind of like a sunflower design, and then it has like these swirls in it with some leaves in it as well. So this quilting pattern I really liked. We ended up buying it off a website because I didn't like any of the patterns in the IntelliQuilter. So we're trying to work on getting some more patterns for that too. We were hoping maybe we could retrieve our gamel patterns that we lost from our gamel, but haven't had much success with that, so kind of starting from scratch again. But I do like this quilter a little bit better than I did my gamel because this one is easier for me to help load it. I can roll it easier. It's easier to mark my location. I don't know if any of you know anything about quilting out there, but yeah, it can be a little challenging with the computer, and I am not a computer literate kind of girl. I am so old school, it's not even funny. So I don't know if I can turn this around. Yeah, I probably should turn it this way. This quilt is really big, and I don't have the measurements right here handy, but as most of you know that had followed along on this, I had done it different than the pattern. I had added the corn border in this, with a 6-inch corn with a 4 corn at the top, and then there's 4 corn at the bottom, and then there's 4 large corn that go down on each side. And these were out of the Lori Holt Farm Girl Vintage 2 book. It was a corn and tomatoes block, and I just omitted the tomatoes and just kept the corn pieces and incorporated them in my border. So I really, really love this quilt. So I don't know, maybe I should fold it up in half here. I was kind of hoping maybe I could get Jim to come out here and hold it up for me, because I really need what we had in our old farmhouse is a rod that had the clips on it so we could you know, show our quilts really well. So really all I've got is this giant table that Jim has built for quilting, and we'll be able to lay quilts out on it, trim quilts, you know, and all that. But it definitely works great for putting things up. So this is how she looks. She's folded in half, but I kind of want to give you the designs, you know, of the 4 corn that go down the side vertically. Got threads all over it, drives me crazy. And then I've got the 6-inch corn and I've kind of staggered them up and down at the top here. Which I don't know, let me see if I can kind of move this down so you can, wrong way. Let's see if we can move it this way. And then I can kind of show you what I've got going on here. So you can kind of see the 4 corn at the top. And the same way as at the bottom. I've got the 4 corn at the bottom, and then there are 4 corn going down each side vertically. So this really turned out to be a very nice quilt. And I really love the pattern in this. And I'm going to kind of bring it up so you can kind of see maybe the pattern in the birds. It's really hard to see. I probably have to take some pictures, but I really love it. I love the back. This was a 108 back, and it's kind of like a black and gray, and the pattern, let's see if we can move in on just a little bit so you can kind of see the pattern on this, hopefully, that it has the big sunflowers here and the swirls. I'll get some better pictures so you can kind of see that, but I am really, really happy with this quilt. It turned out so nice. So this was the first quilt that we did on the new Knolting, the Knolting long arm. We also did a second one of my quilts, and let me grab that. So some of you might have seen my strawberry quilt. Let's see if I can get this the right way. Okay. The strawberry quilt that I did back in the spring. Oh, I got an itch on my nose. I did this back in the spring. This was a therapy quilt for me as well. When I was still staying with my mother-in-law while we were waiting to get our house put in. And I had gotten this backing fabric that I put on this. This was some yardage that I had picked up, and it wasn't on a bolt, but you could tell it was on a bolt. It just didn't have the bolt in it. So there's a lot of it, and I still had a lot of it. And so I seamed it together, or I should say Jim seamed it together for me, and we put this nice pink and red flowery back on the back of it, which really goes nicely with the front. So this was out of a magazine. I've got a lot of binding to do. So this is the strawberry quilt, and we did do a strawberry pattern on this with the strawberry leaves, and we did it in a very light purple thread because there is a lot of purple in the front, and Jim thought it would make it have great contrast. So this is just another nice quilt, and I'm going to do the binding the same as in the back. I have a lot of it, and I think that will match it up really nicely. So now actually that was the third quilt. We've been practicing on this long arm with my quilt so that we are prepared more for, doing other people's quilts. So let me grab the other one. So I think I've showed this before, maybe in the house before I got out here into the studio. This is just a lap throw quilt, and this was some fabrics that were retrieved out of my fire. So they were smoked, but I just didn't want to throw them away, and I thought, well, I could just make something out of them. So some of them you can see a little bit of tiny of the smoke, but I thought this is just mine. I'm going to keep it in my house, probably, put it on the back of my chair for a lap blanket or something. But they were all these half square triangles in white, and all of the edges got smoked, but I kind of trimmed them down, so most of the smoke was off, but this is kind of a memory quilt, just something to hold on to. The border of this was given to me with the flowers. The inner green border was left over from the back of a quilt that I had made for our benefit that we had in the spring. And then of course the triangles were, pulled out of my fire. They were in a baggie. So I just kind of put it together, and Jim kind of played with some custom quilting on this. And it's just really a really nice little quilt. And I had some flannel backing, and I think this was another donation fabric. I should say all of it was donation fabric, but this is a flannel back, and it just has these pretty stripes, and it had the colors. So this gave us some practice too with our new long arm. So I'm really happy with that. So I've got binding cut for the strawberry quilt and the smoke quilt, and so I got some work cut out for me. So Today is January 2nd, and yesterday was January 1st, and I went over to my friend's, my friend Erin. A lot of you hear me talking about her. She has the quilt shop called She's So Creative. She is now selling some of her items here in my shop, such as wide backs for quilts, because I have a lot of people that come and they ask me, do I have quilt backing, you know, and I'm like, I'm not a fabric store. But Erin has brought some wide backs here, so if any of you out there that are local and you don't want to travel to Erin's shop, Erin has a few select wide backs here that you can get, so when you want to come and get your quilt long-armed, you can pick up one of them backs. We have a system set up with her, so it's a time saver for a lot of people that don't have time to get to her shop, you know, or it's a kind of a convenience thing that we can have some of her backings here, and it, you know, so we can get them done quickly, you know, so it really is a convenience thing. But anyway, she had a big sale yesterday, and of course I owed her for some quilting that I did for Christmas for some friends and family, and I wanted to settle up with her, and I did want to check out her sale. So I knew that she had some things, so I got a magic bag here. So watch me pull some fabric out of a bag. So let's see. First up, I probably should show you what I really wanted to go over there for was this panel. And this is new by Riley Blake. And let me put this down. And of course, I think you all know I had a lot of quilts, and one of the quilts I had was a She Who Sews quilt, and I loved it. That was my quilt that I took to all my retreats and everything, and of course, the quilt is gone. And so are the panels. I can't even find a panel to make another She Who Sews. Well, Riley Blake has come out with this press-on iron panels and fabric to go with it. So I really love this. Move this camera back and I'll kind of hold you up. I don't know if a lot of you have seen this fabric line yet. It is, oh goodness. It is that J. Wecker Fresh, I hope I'm saying that right. But you can kind of see she's the pressing girl with the irons and stuff. And I just love this. I love this maker. I always call it the Wecker, but this is called Press On Wecker, J. Wecker Fresh. I love that maker. I just love it. I love the fabrics that she makes because they are all just so, I don't know, they're just so whimsical, I guess. I don't know. But that's the panel. So this is going to be a future quilt. And I also got some fabrics to go with it. I got this white with a little irons on it. And I think I actually seen some of this on Missouri Star a while back. She had gotten some of the panels. And then this one here is a blue, and it has a little lady sewing with the ironing boards and the little irons. Just super cute. I thought they would be cute into a quilt. And then of course, Erin had to show me some other stuff that she had. And there was some other panels here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one because it has that muslin kind of like color background. But it's almost like, I wish I had a wall that I could kind of show you. Let's move this stuff out of the way. Let's move these. Let's move the bag. So it's kind of like a patent, or, you know, I don't know what you would call this. Right way, okay. It is like the drawing up, you know, the drafting, like they drafted up the ironing tables and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it would be cool to put it on the back of a quilt or something, just to kind of incorporate it. And it's got the irons and I don't know, just really retro-y, really cool. So, you know, she shows me all this stuff. Yep, I'll take one of each, you know. It's just too fun. So, I mean, maybe you all can come up with some ideas on, you know, what you can do with this. So this one here, and this might be a separate quilt, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to, or maybe I might put these in a border around the panel, which would be really cool too. So there's all these different irons, you know, and different colors to, you know, put in there. And even this long piece here on the bottom, Practical Housekeeper Artistic Needlework. that could go in like, you know, the top for a header or something. And these are all square, so I could cut these out and actually I could border them around the press-on panel, and maybe this on the back. I don't know. I just think it is super cool. I just love it. I love this fabric. It is really fun to play with, and when I see all this stuff, I get all kinds of ideas spinning around. So this one's another one. This one kind of reminds me of the curtains that I did in my background here. I don't know if you can see them on my windows here. They have the J. Wecker Frisch panels in them, and I had designed those curtains to for all of my windows in here because I wanted a little valance and I wanted it to feel like sewing. So this one is kind of the same thing. She has all these blocks, and they're all different sewing related blocks. So these are just really fun too to do something with. You know, and this would make a great little throw pillow to put with my quilt. Let's see if I can get this the right way. There we go. So now you can kind of see that this is all laid out. Move my pile down. And this has home laundering on the end, cards, marriage, invitation, and address cards. Just like an advertising kind of panel. Just really fun. But I could see a couple of little throw pillows and, you know, and that quilt maybe, you know, the quilt when I get it finished, maybe on the end of my bed or on my couch. I don't know. I love quilts, and I think when I get a bunch of them made again, I will probably swap them out and, you know, put different ones on the couch or whatever, like I said. Or I thought about maybe finding a shelf or something I can keep them stacked up in so that they're visible, so I can change them out whenever I want for my bed or my couch, or, you know, I don't know. I had a lot of quilts, and Jim always teased me about having all those quilts, but, you know, now they're gone. So I got to start over. But I am an avid sewer, and I know I'm going to make lots of quilts. So, but that's going to be in my future. And I also have some other panels in my desk that I've set aside and I want to get started on. But, you know, here in the last few months with Christmas and everything, and not having a quilter, we've had so much going on. And I did do a couple of quilts for Christmas. I made one for my neighbor who we bought the house from. I wish I would have took some pictures of it. It was a free pattern from Riley Blake, and it was called Paisley, and it had cowboy boots on it. It was beautiful. She loved it. So, yeah, now it's time. I want to make some quilts for the quilt show, and I want to make some quilts for me because I love my quilts. So, the next thing that Erin showed me, let's see, yeah, it's this. Oh my goodness. This is going to be super fun, and I can just see all kinds of ideas for this. This is an apron panel. And yes, these are from Sheets So Creative, and you can get them there too. She just got this in. I'm going to move this back just a little bit so I can kind of hold this up because I don't have anything where I can really show you. So this is the panel, and this is an apron, and it is very colorful. And on the top of it, not a very good show off, coffee always on my mind. And it's got little coffee beans at the top. And I could see like ruffles or something with like the coffee bean, and she's got a coffee bean fabric. And I thought, oh my gosh, ruffles. I mean, I had aprons, I love aprons, and I love to embellish them. So this would be very simple. And the bottom has the straps on it for the sides and for the neckties. I thought about maybe making a necktie that had a couple of buttons on it where you could make it adjustable, you know, for the neck. And of course, you know, doing the straps. But the front of this apron, I mean, oh my gosh, I could find some coffee related fabric, make some ruffles on it, put a pocket on it. This would be a cute little apron for like when you're serving coffee, like a barista. So I don't know. I love it. I want to get some more aprons made. I love aprons. They remind me of my grandmother. So, and here is another panel that goes with it. And oh my gosh, when I saw this, I thought about the coffee quilt that I made. And that one was a fun one that I did in the farmhouse. And I had all of these cute little, it was a little panel with coffee sayings on it. And I put coffee patterns in there. I don't know. We did a video, and of course I look like a bedhead in the morning. And we somehow made it that the coffee was making me awesome, and I don't know. It was a cute video. But this is a colorful little blocks of all these different coffee sayings, and I can see another coffee quilt in my future. And the coffee cups at the top, you know, we can incorporate them in the headers and in the bottom. And yeah, there's some on the bottom too. So I'll kind of spread this out so you can see this. Erin has these at her shop. These are all new. And you can also check out her website online at sheetsocreative.com, and it's SCHEETZ. So Creative, SEW, you know, creative. So Sheets So Creative. I'll have Jim put a link in the description box so you can get on her website and check these out. You'll want to get these because I'm thinking they're going to go fast. But this has all kinds of coffee sayings, coffee love, life begins after coffee. Coffee makes everything better. Life begins after coffee. There's a coffee grinder, coffee cup with a little heart in it and a little spoon. Premium coffee for a better morning. In coffee we trust. I don't know about you, but my favorite coffee is Dunkin' Donuts or McCafe. McCafe is my house coffee. Dunkin' Donuts is my treat coffee. Wake up and smell the coffee. Keep calm and drink coffee. No talkie before coffee. Life begins after coffee. Freshly brewed coffee, but first coffee. Coffee always on my mind. Mama needs coffee. I'm a dog mama, so yeah. Strong like my coffee. Yes. Coffee and then the world. Coffee break. Powered by coffee. And then up here you got cafe latte, latte macchiato, espresso, cafe mocha, cappuccino, and Americano. I love Americanos. So this is just a really fun thing that you can put with your apron. And Erin and I had discussed about our YouTube channels, and she has a YouTube channel on YouTube as well. You can check her out at Sheets So Creative. And we were talking that maybe, you know, we should both do a video on what we do with our panels. And I thought that's a great idea because I love to see what other people come up with, you know, when you have the same fabrics or designs or a pattern. What can you create and make it different, you know? Because everybody's different. Everybody thinks differently, you know? So she suggested about these little coffee squares. You could turn them into coasters or little mug rugs. And I thought that's a great idea too, you know? So I'm curious to what she's going to come up with. But the matching apron, I'm really looking forward to making this and maybe jazzing it up. So this will be in a future video sometime very, very soon. When I get to it, I have a lot of projects I want to do. So I guess you're going to get a sneak peek at what's going on for 2025. So the last thing I got from Erin, and she showed me this last, and I was like, I was in love with this because I am a baker, and this is a baking panel, and this is really sweet. So what would you do with a baking panel? Would you turn it into a quilt? Or you could make little mug mats out of these. There's all different kinds of squares. You could turn these into little coasters. There is a main one here with the recipes and things on it. There is some of the, what do they call, petit fours, measuring spoons, measuring cup, the whisk and spatula, easy as pie. There's a mixer. There's a couple cake plates. This is really cool. I thought about maybe a baking quilt, and I have some fabrics with sweet treats and cupcakes and goodies on it. So I thought, you know, being a baker that I am, I love to bake. I think maybe I might turn this into a baking quilt. And I love that it has these pinks and greens and yellows in it. So that might be my theme color. And maybe with some, mix in with some Lori Holt blocks or something. I don't know. I mean, I always try to throw something in there like that too. So this is another thing, and this one here is called Flour and Flour, like flour, F-L-O-U-R, baking flour, and flour like F-L-O-W-E-R. And this is a Riley Blake design. So you can find this on Erin's website for sheetsocreative.com. And then the coffee one, let's see who makes the coffee one. I didn't even look at that. Oh, this is called Barista. And this is by Northcott. So it's a Northcott fabric by Deborah Edwards and Melanie Samra. Very, very cute. Just think what you could make out of these, or they would make great gifts. So there is some good ideas for 2025. Holy God, can you believe it's 2025? I mean, oh my God, 2024 was a very rough year. Very rough year. And I'm pretty sure that Jim is going to put together a video for the year that we've been through from beginning to where we are now. I mean, from losing our house to rebuilding and building this wonderful room that I have here to share all of the great things that, you know, I love to do with you and others. You know, I've already had a couple of sewing days in here. The first sewing party we had, we did a Chubby Charmer class, and I got the pattern for Chubby Charmer, but then I gave them an option if you want to enlarge your Chubby Charmer, which I like to call the XL. I have a bag that I have done, but I haven't got it quite finished yet, but it's hanging over there. So that was great. And we did do some open sews here, but I want to get a schedule made up. So, because there's a lot of people who want to come in here and utilize this room, and it's great. And it's always more fun to have somebody to sew with. And I do want to see about connecting all of you and getting you in here. So I'm going to show you what I'm working on right now and my idea for it. So I'm going to move you over. Okay, this is my little sewing space over here on my design wall. You can see that I have a pattern, and this is Millies Dresses, and this is a Lori Holt pattern. I got this also. No, I did not. Somebody mailed me this. Somebody mailed me this pattern, but I know that Erin has these patterns in her shop. They're called Millies Dresses, and I know she said she wants to make one too. But whoever sent me this pattern, thank you, because I really love this. And I have bigger ideas for this pattern than what is on the pattern. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my creativity for this, and I will keep you all informed on what I am doing with this pattern. So as you can see already, I've got this little vintage up here, and this idea came out of Lori Holt's books, The Spelling Bee. She has the letters in there, and you can do them in large or small, or upper and lowercase letters. Let me put it that way, upper and lowercase. So these are all the 6-inch uppercase letters, but you can make them in 6-inch or 12-inch, or 6.5 and 12.5, but they're 6-inch finished. So I did the 6-inch finished, and I made vintage, and of course I put a 1.5-inch border in between each letter, and then I did a 1.5 border on the top and the bottom to kind of enclose my vintage. And I also thought it would be cool to make a little retro-y telephone, so I threw that in there too, just because this is kind of vintage, and I love the vintage look of these dresses. So my dresses that I've got started, I used a Maywood Studios layer cake that somebody had sent me, because I love the patterns, or the fabric squares looked very retro-y, and so I just pulled out some of my own fabrics, like this red and this pink, because I wanted to have a little more color in there, and I added some colors for my accents for my dresses too, because you have the accent for the collar and the waistline. So what my idea is for this is I want to build a dress form in an applique and make one of the dresses on a dress form stand. If you know, it's hard for me to describe it, but I'm going to draw that out. I haven't gotten that far. There in the pattern there is 16 dresses. 16 dresses. So I'm actually only going to do 15, and I might take the extra dress and maybe put it on the back of the quilt, and to kind of bring the back to the front, or the front to the back kind of thing. So this is my idea. I'm not sure about my borders yet. I might follow along on what she's did in the pattern, but this is the start of my Millies dresses, and I just think these are so adorable. The fabric that I chose for my letters was something that I pulled off my shelf. Somebody had sent me or gave me this fabric. I'm not sure, you know, I've got so much that was donated to me. So I'm trying to utilize a lot of my own stuff from my shelves. And the phone was just made out of some scraps out of my scrap bin. This is just, you know, this is how my head thinks, you know. I get all these ideas. I love to applique, I love to draw, and I like to incorporate some of my own ideas into a pattern to make it personally my own. So I think that this is going to make this very interesting and very cute. So if you want to, you know, hang with me, you know, as I take you into the next video, and we'll probably show you how I done some of that stuff. And you've seen some of my videos already with the creativity, you know, like with the pillows or, you know, the tote bags that I do. I just love whimsical stuff. So this is just another idea. So I don't know if I have much more to tell you about today. So, but I do owe you all a room tour in here too. So maybe that will be the next upcoming video after this one, because a lot has changed in here. It is a working room now. It is fully functional, and I'm really enjoying it. So I hope you enjoyed this little show and tell of what I've got going on for the new year. Fresh ideas, new year,